You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Took my breath away. Expert flags precarious situation Supreme Court just created, based on an article by Nicole Charky-Chami. The court didn't clarify birthright citizenship. It kept the knife sharp. Power, not confusion. The source story centers on a Supreme Court that had every opportunity to settle a basic constitutional question and chose not to. Melissa Murray's point is the important one. This was not a clean resolution, but a narrow escape. The executive order under Donald Trump was unlawful under federal statute, yet the larger constitutional issue was left dangling instead of being conclusively shut down. That is not judicial restraint in any serious sense. It is institutional delay with political consequences. The real decision-makers. The institutional power here sits with the court and downstream, with the Republican apparatus eager to keep attacking birthright citizenship. Trump issued the executive order. The court could have answered the constitutional question directly. Instead, it issued a ruling that preserved ambiguity, and Brett Kavanaugh added a concurrence that did exactly what future anti-citizenship activists needed. He suggested Congress might be able to strip birthright citizenship by statute. That is the real mechanism of harm, not confusion. Permission. Delay as strategy. Murray's criticism lands because the court's timing matters. She notes that the justices could have done it a year ago and instead let the issue fester and percolate. That is not a neutral omission. When a court with this much authority refuses to settle a question, it does not leave a vacuum. It creates an opening for political operators who know how to exploit legal uncertainty. The effect is to make a settled constitutional guarantee look negotiable. That is how institutions normalize attacks that should have been dead on arrival. Kavanaugh's invitation. Kavanaugh's concurrence is the clearest evidence that this was not just a missed opportunity. It was an opening. By suggesting that Congress could someday rescind birthright citizenship, he moved the issue from constitutional law into legislative warfare. Murray correctly identifies that as an invitation for future activism and advocacy. That invitation is not abstract. It hands the right wing a roadmap. Keep the pressure on, wait for the right Congress, and turn a constitutional protection into a statute-level target. The court did not end the threat. It helped stage the next round. The usual misdirection. The weaker actors in this story are the ones most likely to absorb the blame in conventional coverage: immigrants, litigants, procedural timelines, or some vague notion of legal complexity. That framing is useful to people who want to obscure responsibility. The facts here point upward. The decision-makers were Trump, who launched the attack, the Supreme Court, which declined to kill it cleanly, and Kavanaugh, who left the door open for the next assault. Calling this uncertainty disguises design. Calling it restraint flatters cowardice. The pattern. This is how constitutional erosion actually works in elite American institutions, not always through one dramatic rupture, but through delay, equivocation, and strategically planted doubt. A court can preserve a right in form while making clear that powerful actors may keep trying to destroy it in practice. That is not accidental. It is governance by incivility. Birthright citizenship is not unsettled because the Constitution is unclear. It is unsettled because institutions with power refused to settle it when they could. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Raw Story for today's article, with the automated voice of Amy. Thanks for listening.